Hello, my name's Gruely, and today I'm going to be covering some unfortunate news for the Roblox art community. If you don't like hearing about disgusting topics involving coal miners or this particular file format, then I think you ought to click off this video because it gets pretty bad. If you're leaving in light of this warning, just know not to play FreeDraw anymore. We are officially dropping FreeDraw. That's all you need to know. Leave the FreeDraw Discord server, unfavorite the game, and stop playing it. Just stick to spray paint, man. It's the better game anyway. I don't usually make videos covering such serious subject matter. I like to keep my videos pretty low stakes and fun, but with this situation in particular, I feel obligated to cover it because, for one, this pertains to a game I regularly play and promote on my channel, and two, I care about this community, and I can't in good conscience not blow the lid on this. For those who don't know, FreeDraw is a Roblox game, and it's pretty much the best place to draw on Roblox. The line art is clean, you get a lot of layers, and you can even save your drawings and pull them back up for later. For a lot of people, it's the premier game for chilling with friends and drawing together on Roblox, besides Sheriff Taco spray paint, of course. Because of this, FreeDraw has amassed a huge community over the years, with their publicly advertised Discord server standing at a whopping 32,000 members. What could go wrong? Well, a lot, actually. As we all know, Roblox is predominantly played by children. Because of this, as some of you may know, Roblox is also popular amongst so you could only imagine the disgusting stuff kids could potentially be exposed to in a game where anyone could draw literally anything they want. Not to mention, Roblox is a social game with a game chat, so are able to connect with children on social media through Roblox. This regularly leads to the generation of and all of this is exactly why FreeDraw needs trustworthy admins and moderators to protect the community and children from evil internet freak degenerates. And here lies the problem, because the owner of Roblox FreeDraw, who goes by @Wrestlim aka Nicole, has been exposed by her own moderation team as someone who is not fit to run a community full of children. On May 13th of 2025, the FreeDraw Discord server pinged all of its users multiple times with a link to a tweet. Nicole and her girlfriend Jazzpup immediately began deleting these links and attempted to purge said links from the server for no one else to see. Luckily, my friend Jwatts happened to be on the server when this went down, and he opened one of the links before they all got deleted. The tweet was posted by our main whistleblower of this story, a rogue mod that goes by Rox. On said tweet, Rox claims that Nicole was trying to implement a new rule to FreeDraw that prohibits any permanent bans from FreeDraw and the FreeDraw Discord. This effectively allows anybody and everybody to have a second chance and be unbanned from the FreeDraw community. Without context, this idea isn't so bad. After all, having forgiveness in your heart and giving people a second chance is a Christ-like virtue. However, this all takes a disgusting turn when you realize that when Nicole says she wants everybody to have a second chance, she means everybody. Yes, that includes the people who've been banned for drawing in a children's game, people who've drawn and proven child. Essentially, the owner of FreeDraw wants to let quote-unquote reformed who have already offended back into their art game full of minors. Included in Rox's tweet are screenshots of Discord conversations between Nicole and her mods about the implementation of this new rule. If we let every player be appealable, what about the few that have been banned for behavior?
Well, we would feel it out and make sure they aren't a risk to the community anymore. Everyone can change. Repeat offenders can get increasingly long times.
Including Naka?
I don't know who that is, but including them, yeah, sure. Yeah, anyone can change.
Okay, I'm officially quitting then.
We need to be more empathetic. There is no bad person, only bad decisions.
Said can change. No bad people, guys. Yeah, right.
They can. Racists can change. Can change. The worst people you can possibly think of can change.
I cannot in good faith appeal genuine. If someone draws a fully rendered scene, I'm not appealing it. Drawing on a kid's game should be inexcusable.
The policy is going to be changing whether you like it or not.
Okay, there is a lot to unpack here. Obviously, these are very concerning statements coming from the owner of a Roblox game. I can't believe I even have to say this, but there are no circumstances in this world where it's ever okay to let people who've drawn graphic for kids to see in a Roblox game or proven back into a community full of minors where they could potentially re-offend. These are people who have committed illegal acts. Why is Nicole trying to let these people back into her game? This weird empathy Nicole has for and degenerates could seriously endanger children. I understand wanting to be empathetic and forgiving. Again, forgiveness is a virtue. But man, There is a line. Any rational, moral soul who isn't a terminally online Discord admin would agree that predatory behavior against minors is unforgivable evil. If an adult is demented enough to talk with a minor, intentionally expose minors to graphic or straight up draw, they're gonna have to take that one up with God. And I'm not even religious. Any decent person wouldn't be able to forgive any of those things. And like, where is all of this empathy for even coming from? Why is this the hill Nicole wants to die on? Not to mention, how would moderators even determine whether or not a has changed? How can they be certain that they won't reoffend? Are the mods just gonna take their word for it? You know people lie, right? Like, are you seriously just gonna trust the words of a oh gee, I wonder why a would lie about that. You really think a would lie to get into a game full of children? Like, this logic is so stupid. On May 12th, 2025, a day before Rox's tweet came out, these screenshots of Nicole's suspicious conversations were making the rounds across the FreeDraw community. After finding out about these leaked messages, the FreeDraw Discord server began rioting in general chat. Nicole thought it would be a good idea to try to plead her case to the angry members. Luckily, we have these screenshots too.
I changed the appeal policy on NSFW from no appeals to heavily scrutinized appeals. My message does not say aren't bad, but can become not.
Generally, people can't change what they're attracted to. Not to mention, certainly can't ungroom their victims. So you'd forgive a person for liking children or much worse, putting them in danger?
Yes, if they seek therapy and commit to becoming a better person. My stance is also that not everyone drawing NSFW even considers they're showing it to children.
Hello? It's Roblox. Of course they know they're showing it to children. The majority of Roblox players are minors. This is common knowledge. Why are you playing dumb? What is with these mental gymnastics to defend in your game that kids play? Here Nicole claims that more than 50% of FreeDraw's player base is above the age of 18, and she cites a Roblox demographics chart. Even if this were true, how does that justify exposing that 36% of minors to like, what even is the argument here? And her assertion wasn't even true, because this graph is not a reliable source at all. Roblox is notorious for having children lie about their age.
You don't gain anything on Roblox for lying about your age without verifying it.
Children can easily falsely verify their age with their parents' information. Also, there is so much you can gain by lying about your age in Roblox. You get social features, voice chat, access to restricted games. What is she on about? Here Nicole concedes that the demographics chart is in fact unreliable, yet she still tries to make her argument by saying,
I do know a lot of adults who play FreeDraw.
Nicole, just because you know a lot of adults who play FreeDraw doesn't mean they make up 50% or more of your game's population. I'm a 21-year-old man who draws on Roblox, and I know I'm an outlier. I know this because it's lonely for me in these art games. They mainly consist of children playing. I only really play these games if my friends are down to play or if I'm recording a video. So yeah, another terrible argument. You're willing to forgive someone who can possibly expose children to things they should not be seeing?
Yes, if they regret it.
Have you ever seen To Catch a Predator or Gideon's EDP watch? Typically, only regret what they do if they're caught. Here's an example that'll become relevant later. Kaneko Kitten was a 20-year-old Roblox YouTuber who got exposed for having multiple online relationships with minors. He was also exposed for having conversations with one of them. He then lied about and blamed that minor, claiming that they were the one pushing the conversations, effectively dodging all accountability. It was only 4 years after the fact when that minor finally gave their side of the story, exposing Kaneko Kitten for being reciprocal and complicit in those DMs, did Kaneko Kitten finally express regret for what he did. And even in this case, I don't buy it. He was only trying to say he's touched grass and found Jesus after he got exposed, not before. If he was truly a repentant man of God, then why did it take for him to get caught to show any remorse? Kaneko Kitten is a proven Roblox and a manipulator, and he was rightfully ousted from his platform. Remember when I said this would be relevant later? Well, later is now, because this is who Nicole considers to be a reformed. Want to know how I know this? Because they're friends. That's right, the owner of Roblox FreeDraw is friends with a known Roblox. Nicole privately admits to being Kaneko Kitten's friend and thinks his cancellation was bullshit. The only reason I know this is because Rox has a mole that's still in Nicole's private group chats. Also, they're publicly added on Roblox. Now, Nicole, I have to ask, what exactly is bullshit about being canceled for your young audience? How is a 20-year-old having a relationship with their and year-old fans, not something worth deplatforming. That is what you call super senior behavior. Is that the type of person you want interacting with minors in your Roblox game? Anyway, back to the general chat. Here's a particularly suspicious quote Nicole said to the angry mob.
I've held this opinion for 5+ years. I have cringed every time staff is super stringent on a guy who did something a little wrong 3 years ago.
A little wrong? Did this guy just say that drawing for children to see and being a is something a little wrong? What the f? Nicole got tired of trying to prove her point to no avail, so she simply disabled the general chat in defeat. At this point, at least 6 of the moderators had left in protest of the new no permabans rule, and some members even took to FreeDraw to protest Nicole. A day later, one of the remaining mods went rogue and gave all members the permission to ping at everyone. This was done so ex-moderators could expose what was going on behind the scenes using Rox's tweet. This led to JWatts getting pinged and telling me about what had happened. So here I am, doing my due diligence. And I hate this. I wish I never stumbled upon this. This is a rabbit hole, bro. It gets worse. I connected with Rox to verify the screenshots and get more information because I was worried whether or not these screenshots were taken out of context or flat out photoshopped. Rox said they couldn't get a recording of the DMs because they weren't a mod anymore, so they didn't have access to them. And even if they did have access, Nicole had already deleted them all. So instead, I asked Rox for a more comprehensive archive of the screenshots. They obliged by adding me to an underground Discord server full of ex-members of FreeDraw's moderation team. Here, I was given a plethora of proof and information. And let me tell you, the situation gets much, much worse. But before I delve deeper, I'd like to explain to you why I think these screenshots and all of the other evidence are real. Reason number 1, these ex-mods have years of history with FreeDraw and the Discord server, which gives them a lot of credibility. Reason number 2, there were multiple screenshots of the same messages, which corroborates them not being fabricated. Reason number 3, some messages, namely the ones from the mall, have actual footage of them existing. Reason number 4, a lot of these screenshots show entire conversations, which leaves little room for taking anything out of context. And reason 5, Nicole has seen these screenshots and yet has never disputed their validity. Doesn't get any realer than that. Now that you have my word that all of this evidence is in fact real and verified, let's delve into this degeneracy. In this conversation with mods, Nicole clearly states that if somebody draws in FreeDraw, they should be able to be unbanned in a year. Obviously, having any ban timer is not enough. People who draw in FreeDraw, or just in general, should get at the very least a permanent ban, no exceptions. Even if can change, which they can't, why do you care if they have the opportunity to come back? Now, if you think all of this is just purely conversational and hypothetical, you'd be wrong. Nicole and her girlfriend Jaspup have already enacted the no permabans rule. Back when Rox was still a moderator, they had permanently banned a user off of Roblox FreeDraw for drawing graphic in a public server for kids to see. Jaspup, who Nicole says is acting as a proxy to her, went out of her way to change this ban from permanent to 1 month. According to Rox, Jaspup didn't even ask this person if they would re-offend. She just let someone who drew in Roblox back into FreeDraw for no reason. I thought you guys wanted to gauge whether or not they were reformed, but you didn't even do that. Is this how you intended to feel it out and see if they aren't a risk to the community? What a load of bullshit. Nicole claims they'll only let back in people who they reassess as reformed, and yet literally every ban appeal just gets accepted without reason. Essentially, Nicole and Jaspup are enabling this predatory behavior in a game children frequent. What's hilarious is that Jaspup then goes on to say that
We're moderators for a video game, not morality police.
What? So you admit that these people are immoral? Trying to protect the community and minors from predatory behavior isn't policing morality, it's just being a decent human being. What I find most disgusting is when Nicole and Jaspup say that repeat offenders get banned for longer times, which they've both said. Why would you even keep the possibility open for to re-offend? Why are you not thinking about how this affects the children who play your game? This has the potential to ruin lives. Why do you have so much empathy for but none for their victims? This screenshot comes back up with more context. Here, Nicole says in response to a couple of moderators leaving in protest of the new no permabans rule,
I hope you two can someday gain empathy for the people who've made mistakes in their lives.
LOL! LOL! This is actually starting to sound like To Catch a Predator.
What are you doing? Making a mistake.
I cannot believe I have to say this. Oh my god. Children and exposing them to graphic is not a mistake. It's not something you can do accidentally. It is an unforgivable decision that only disgusting people make. I'm sick of this Kanye West line of thinking where we should humanize and be charitable to pure evil. Alright, back to the timeline. After Nicole ruined her reputation and disabled anyone from talking on her server to prevent further rioting, she decided to make an announcement to clarify her position and apologize. Or so we thought. It goes as follows.
Hey everyone, thank you all for your patience. We're going to slowly be unlocking the channels and making some changes to how the Discord server operates moving forward. These changes will only affect the server, and FreeDraw will continue to operate as it always has. On the recent controversy, appealing a ban simply means a user can request a second review of their case. It does not guarantee that they will be unbanned.
Nobody misconstrued what you meant by appealing a ban. We understood what you meant. Also, an appeal pretty much does mean an unban because you guys accept every appeal no matter how heinous. I know this because the mole has access to your guys' logs.
We will never unban users who have engaged in or any form of predatory behavior.
Oh, that's funny. Then explain how somebody who drew graphic of a toddler being got banned for 2 years. A toddler! That seems like predatory behavior to me. Why wasn't that permabanned? Note that this 2-year ban happened on May 19th of 2025, 3 days after this announcement came out. These manipulative, lying empathizers, bro. They say one thing and they do the other. This is actually malicious at this point. Everything Nicole's saying here to the public is in direct contradiction to what she says in private. We have proof of her saying that shouldn't get a permaban. That's why this all started in the first place. We literally have screenshots of Nicole unbanning someone who has drawn Nicole trying to tell us that she's always had a zero tolerance policy on predatory behavior is a straight up lie. This reads like manipulative corporate jargon meant to save her own. At least she's telling people she's walking back on the disgusting no permabans rule. Maybe she kinda almost realized why that rule was so abhorrent in the first place. Like I said before, we have a mole. Here's what Nicole said in regards to her 180 on the no permabans rule.
The biggest thing I've come to realize is that should not be allowed to contact their victims. Lol.
Wow, you think? Brilliant deduction there. Why did it take an angry mob ruining your reputation for you to realize this? Anyone slightly empathetic towards the plight of victims would have made this connection instantly.
It's not something I didn't believe, but rather something I didn't consider.
You know what, guys? Nicole is right. She didn't consider how this would harm the children that play her game. Weird. Her announcement also includes a quote-unquote apology.
My apology. I want to apologize for the miscommunication on my end from the discussion over the last few days.
Nicole, what exactly did you miscommunicate when you said, there are no bad people, just bad decisions? Or when you said, this policy is going to be changing whether you like it or not? Or when you said, can change? Or when you said, I want all bans to be appealable when asked about people drawing in your game? I could go on. And I will. What exactly did you miscommunicate when you said, repeat offenders can get increasingly long times? Or when you said, I hope you too can gain empathy for those who've made mistakes in their lives when talking about. Or when you said, Kaneko Kitten's cancellation was bullshit. Nicole, I think you've communicated the way you truly feel quite clearly, actually.
Going forward, we're also going to try being more transparent to you all about our policy and moderation.
Why are you acting like you weren't being transparent about the no permabans rule? Nicole, you made yourself very apparent. Crystal clear, in fact, which is why we're all so mad.
One of my biggest goals with FreeDraw has been to make it the safest place it possibly can be for both marginalized people and the youth who enjoy it alike.
Do I even have to say anything here? This is just more revisionist history bullshit. Lies.
We've always had some of the strictest, most active, and streamlined moderation on Roblox, and that's definitely not going to change anytime soon.
You just said it was going to change, like a few days ago. This is you doing a 180 but being too scared to admit it, so now you're trying to gaslight us into thinking that you protecting the children has always been the case, which according to your leaked conversations was not. And it's still not. Need I remind you of this they banned for 2 years? Oh yeah, that we banned. When he gets back here in 2 years, he's gonna be a nonchalant. Like, what the f?
Because of the tension of this whole situation, we're going to limit the discussion around this topic in the Discord server for the foreseeable future.
Wow, what a corporate way of saying, we'll be silencing dissenters and sweeping this under the rug. If you think I'm being uncharitable, then let me prove to you how I know that this whole announcement is purely damage control. Here's another screenshot from the mole. This was taken after the riot, but before the announcement. I'm driving right now. I can make an announcement tomorrow. Technical writing and PR is what I do. Yep, that's right. Nicole didn't even write the announcement. It was her girlfriend, Jess Pup. She even used uses the term PR. No wonder this announcement reads like corporate jargon. I think the sneakiest thing about this announcement is that they didn't ping anyone when they posted it. They really didn't want anyone to know about this stuff. If you still think I'm being uncharitable here, here's another screenshot from the mole where Nicole literally says she doesn't really feel like she did anything wrong other than communicate badly. It does not get more caught in 4K than this, man. Why say sorry if you don't feel like you did anything wrong? Oh, that's right, for PR. Again, this whole miscommunication assertion is pure cope on Nicole's part. She never misrepresented how she felt. Nothing was ever taken out of context. All that happened was her being caught in 4K, being a empathizer who is enabling predatory behavior in her art game that children play. I rest my case on that front. If we were to assume the best about the owner of FreeDraw, Nicole, and her girlfriend JazzPup, then I guess we could speculate that perhaps these two people were just misguided. Maybe they were just hopefully naive that could change, and they didn't know any better. Or maybe Kaneko Kitten manipulated them like he manipulated his community. Well, that's what I wanted to believe at first. When I jumped into this rabbit hole and decided I was going to make this video, I thought it would end here. The situation would be officially documented, the truth would spread, people would stop playing FreeDraw, and no more children would be at risk from irresponsible and malicious moderation. But what if I told you it gets darker? We did some digging into Nicole and JazzPup's social media accounts. What we found was utterly depraved, disgusting, and evil. On Blue Sky, JazzPup is openly mutuals with a furry art account that posts, reposts, and interacts with NSFW art of adult characters doing things to much, much smaller characters. A lot of those smaller characters happened to be wearing a binky and or a diaper. Also, there's NSFW art of animals. Truly satanic stuff. It's not just this one account. JazzPup follows multiple accounts that draw. She even interacts with a lot of it. That mutual JazzPup has that draws also runs an 18+ no judgment Discord server for baby furs. JazzPup moderates for that server. If you don't know what a baby fur is, God bless your soul. To put it simply, if somebody tells you that they're a baby fur, they're probably trying to strike a chord, and it's probably a minor. There is a lot more up I could go over about what we found, but I'll spare you the details. Basically, I'm confirming to you right now that JazzPup is in fact a Diddy disciple Gooner Goblin baby fur. That begs the question though, does Nicole know about this? To put it bluntly, based on the evidence, it's very likely she does. For one, Nicole knows about Jasper's Blue Sky account. In fact, they follow each other and their accounts have interacted before. So all Nicole would have to do to figure this out is check out who her lover publicly follows. A very low bar to entry. Also, both Nicole and Jasper follow an account that also follows said baby fur account. Nicole is connected to this baby fur account in multiple ways, increasing the odds of her knowing about JazzPup moderating for their server. The most damning reason I think Nicole is aware of what JazzPup is into is that, according to JazzPup, they live together. Surely the two are close enough in proximity and emotionally for Nicole to have found out what disgusting stuff Jasper is into, especially given how open Jasper is about it. I think after all of these revelations, it's clear to say that Nicole and JazzPup are, at the very least, depraved individuals who should not be around children, let alone moderating an entire game full of them. Suddenly, all of the empathizing, and banning, and disregarding of children's feelings is starting to make a lot more sense now. If you would like a copy of the evidence, the ex-moderation team who helped research this video have created a Google Doc. There's a lot of extra information and damning details that I didn't mention in this video. You can access the Google Doc from my Discord server, discord.gg/fooly. The reason I'm not linking the evidence in the description is because I don't think I'm allowed to. In conclusion, Roblox FreeDraw is run by depraved individuals. Both the owner and her girlfriend have attempted to reintroduce and artists back into their community full of children. They've tried to lie to us, manipulate us, and sweep this whole situation under the rug. We cannot separate the game from the developer in this instance because the developers get to shape the community. We've seen how dangerous this can be with that power being in the hands of irresponsible and depraved individuals. If you're a part of the FreeDraw community, I urge you to leave the FreeDraw Discord server, unfavorite the game, never play it again, and tell your friends to do the same. If we act complicit and let this behavior slide, we'd continue to allow and enable more of this predatory behavior. Thanks for watching. Remember that despite all of this bullshit, life is good and you matter. Okay, bye.